If making money online were as easy as scrolling, liking, and clicking a few buttons, then everyone in this room, and honestly, everyone on the internet, would already be financially free. But that's clearly not the reality. So the question isn't, is it possible to make money online? We know it is. The real question is, why do so few people actually succeed? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people are not failing because the opportunities aren't real. They're failing because they're approaching it the wrong way. They're chasing shortcuts instead of building something sustainable. They jump from one trend to another, drop shipping this month, crypto the next, then content creation the month after, never staying long enough to see real results. And the internet doesn't reward that behavior. It punishes it, because making money online is not about hacks. It's not about finding some secret website or a hidden trick that no one else knows about. If that's what you're looking for, you'll keep starting over, again and again. What actually works is far less exciting, but far more powerful. Building a skill, applying it consistently, and turning it into value that someone is willing to pay for. Think about it. Every single dollar made online comes from one thing: solving a problem. Businesses pay for attention. They pay for better marketing. They pay for efficiency. They pay for growth. And if you can position yourself as the person who helps deliver that outcome, money becomes a byproduct. But here's where most people get stuck. They underestimate the timeline. They expect results in days or weeks. And when it doesn't happen, they assume it's not working. In reality, what's not working is the expectation. Because the people who actually succeed online are playing a completely different game. They're not asking, how fast can I make money? They're asking, how valuable can I become? That shift changes everything. Because once you stop chasing quick wins and start focusing on long-term value, your actions become more intentional. You stop consuming endless content and start creating. You stop comparing yourself to others and start improving your own output. You stop looking for motivation and start building discipline. And discipline is the real differentiator here. Not talent, not luck, not even intelligence. Just the ability to show up day after day and do the work, even when it's boring, even when no one is watching, even when results are slow. So yes, making money online is real, but it's not easy, and it's definitely not instant. It requires patience, focus, and a willingness to do what most people won't. And that's actually the opportunity, because the barrier isn't access, it's effort. The moment you accept that, you stop looking for shortcuts. And that's when things finally start to work. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to earn online is asking the wrong question. They ask, what's trending right now? Instead of, what do people consistently pay for? And that small shift in thinking makes a massive difference in your results. Trends are temporary, skills are durable. When you chase trends, you're constantly starting over. There's always something new: AI tools, dropshipping hacks, viral content strategies. And while some of these can work, they're often overcrowded, short-lived, and heavily dependent on timing. You end up competing with thousands of people doing the exact same thing, with very little differentiation. And when the trend fades, so does your income. But when you focus on skills that businesses actually pay for, you step into a completely different category. Because businesses don't care about trends, they care about results. They care about getting more customers, increasing revenue, saving time, and growing faster. And if you can help them do that, you become valuable. So what are these skills that pay? They're skills tied directly to outcomes. For example, copywriting, the ability to write words that persuade people to take action. That could mean buying a product, signing up for a service, or clicking on a link. Or video editing, because in a world driven by attention, businesses need content that keeps people watching. Or social media management, helping brands grow and engage their audience consistently. Or even simple freelance services like graphic design, website building, or email marketing. Notice the pattern? These are not random activities. They're directly connected to business growth. And here's the key point: you don't need to learn all of them. In fact, trying to learn everything is exactly what slows you down. The goal is to pick one skill and go deep. Because the internet rewards specialists, not generalists. When you focus on one skill, you build clarity. You understand how it works, how to improve it, and how to apply it in real situations. You start to see patterns, you get faster, you get better, and most importantly, you become someone who can deliver consistent results. Compare that to someone who knows a little bit of everything but isn't great at anything. Who do you think a business would trust more? The person who says, I can kind of do 5 different things? Or the person who says, I specialize in this one thing and here's proof of what I've done? It's obvious. Now, this doesn't mean you're stuck with one skill forever. It means you start with one, build a strong foundation, and then expand later if it makes sense. But in the beginning, focus is your biggest advantage. Another important point: don't wait until you feel ready to start using your skill. That moment doesn't exist. You learn faster by doing real work than by endlessly consuming tutorials. Even if your first projects are small or unpaid, they give you something far more valuable than theory, experience, and proof. And proof is what turns a skill into income. So instead of chasing what's popular this week, ask yourself, what problem can I solve? What skill can I build that businesses will always need? Then commit to it. Practice it. Apply it. Improve it. Because once you have a skill that pays, you're no longer dependent on trends. You're not guessing your way to income. You have control. And that's where real financial progress begins. Now that you understand the importance of building a skill that actually pays, the next question is, how do you turn that skill into real income? Because knowledge alone doesn't pay, you need a system. And the good news is this doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, the simpler it is, the more likely you are to stick with it. So here's a practical, repeatable system you can copy. Learn, create, reach out, deliver, improve. Let's break that down. The first step is learn, but not in the way most people approach it. You don't need to spend months watching tutorials or buying endless courses. Start with the basics, just enough to understand how your skill works. Then quickly move into practice. Because real learning happens when you apply, not when you consume. That leads to step 2, create. You need proof of your ability even if you're just starting. That means building a small portfolio. If no one is paying you yet, create your own projects. Write sample copy for a fake brand. Edit videos using publicly available footage. Manage a social media page for practice. The goal is to show what you can do, not just what you know. Step 3 is where most people hesitate. Reach out. This is the part that feels uncomfortable, but it's also where opportunities come from. You can't expect people to magically find you when you're starting out. You need to put yourself in front of them. That could mean sending direct messages to small businesses, emailing potential clients, or using freelance platforms. Keep it simple and genuine. Don't overcomplicate your pitch. Just show that you understand their problem and explain how you can help. Even if you don't get responses at first, that's normal. This step is a numbers game, and every message improves your confidence and clarity. Then comes deliver, and this is where you stand out. Anyone can promise results. Very few people actually deliver them. Focus on doing a great job, even if you're being paid very little in the beginning. Communicate clearly. Meet deadlines. Go slightly beyond expectations. Because one satisfied client can lead to testimonials, referrals, and repeat work. And that brings us to the final step, improve. After every project, take a step back and ask yourself, what worked? What didn't? How can I do this better next time? This is how you grow. Over time, your skills sharpen, your confidence increases, and your results improve. And as your results improve, so does your pricing. Now here's the key insight. This is not a one-time process. It's a loop. You keep learning, creating, reaching out, delivering, and improving again and again. And each time you go through this cycle, you get better, faster, and more valuable. Most people fail because they stop halfway. They learn but never reach out. Or they reach out but give up after a few rejections. Or they deliver once but don't continue improving. But if you commit to the full system and you stay consistent with it, you create momentum. And momentum is what turns small wins into real income. So don't overthink it. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a simple system and the discipline to follow it. Because when you do, making money online stops feeling random and starts becoming predictable. If there is one idea that separates people who succeed online from those who give up too early, it is this: consistency beats intelligence every single time. Not talent, not background, not even how smart you are. What matters far more is whether you can show up repeatedly and do the work long enough for results to compound. A lot of people assume success online belongs to the most gifted. They see someone earning money through freelancing, content creation, or digital skills and immediately think, I could never do that, I'm not smart enough. But that belief is misleading. The internet is not a test of intelligence, it's a test of persistence. Because in the beginning, nobody is good. Everyone starts messy. Your first designs won't look professional. Your first videos won't get views. Your first outreach messages will likely be ignored. That's not failure, that's the entry point. What actually determines your outcome is what you do after that stage. Do you stop or do you continue? Consistency is what turns effort into skill. When you repeat something daily, even imperfectly, your brain starts to recognize patterns. You become faster. You make fewer mistakes. You start to understand what works and what doesn't. Over time, your work improves without you even realizing it. Think of it like training a muscle. One workout does nothing, but repeated workouts over weeks and months completely change your strength. The same applies to online income. One attempt won't change your life, but 100 attempts? 200? 500? That's where transformation happens. And here's something most people underestimate. Consistency also builds confidence. When you show up every day, even when you don't feel like it, you start to trust yourself. You stop relying on motivation and start relying on discipline. And that shift is powerful because motivation is temporary, but discipline is stable. Intelligence alone doesn't carry you through rejection. It doesn't help you deal with slow progress. It doesn't keep you going when results are delayed. But consistency does. It keeps you in the game long enough for your skills to become valuable and your efforts to compound. Another important truth is that most people quit right before things start working. They expect fast results, and when reality doesn't match that expectation, they assume it's not for them. But in most cases, they simply didn't stay long enough. Online success often looks invisible at first. You're building, learning, failing, adjusting, but the results lag behind the effort. Then suddenly things start to shift. A client responds, a video performs better, a small opportunity turns into a bigger one. And from the outside, it looks like overnight success. But internally, it was months of consistency finally paying off. That's why the real question isn't, am I smart enough? The real question is, can I stay consistent long enough to improve? Because if you can, intelligence becomes secondary. Skills develop, opportunities appear, confidence grows, and progress becomes inevitable. So instead of chasing perfection, focus on repetition. Instead of waiting to feel ready, start showing up anyway. And instead of stopping when it gets boring, understand that boredom is often where growth actually begins. In the end, consistency is not just a habit, it's a strategy. And it is the most reliable one you will ever have in the journey of making money online.